So
So
you
there's
mentioned this
some.
before, or you kind of mentioned it before, but you didn't use the actual term. So I just wanted to make sure that like the viewers that maybe are not as financially knowledgeable as you would understand. But basically, take us through what is a passive investment?
Sure. I mean, passive investment is something that you invest in theory. And by the word passive, it means that you don't have to really do anything to it. It over time will both grow in value, but also produce an income stream, whether that's a dividend or a rental income or something like that. So examples of a passive income. Rent is a passive income, although some people would say, oh, well, I've had to get the plumber in to fix the toilet and I actually had to do something, therefore I'm actively involved. And like, yeah, okay, but it's realistically, when you go to bed at night, your investment is growing. It's called a house and that sort of thing. Dividend on the stock, passive income. You haven't been in there working inside that company to earn that dividend. All you've done is put your capital in. Some of the best dividends, and if I could encourage any viewers to have this sort of passive income stream, is called a royalty. Royalties are where it's at, realistically. Think of, royalties, what, Beatles songs, all those royalties. Estates of children of past singers are still just collecting royalties. Every time someone's song is played on the radio, they get I don't know what they get, 5 cents a dollar, who knows? But it equates to a lot of money.
Now,
it's passive because they've been doing it.
Now, I heard that there are some artists actually that sort of use their royalties kind of like a mutual fund, and you can actually buy a share of their royalties. I think David Bowie's estate did that, and
Wow.
and there's somebody else where I don't think so, but I think Bowie was the first to do it, where he collected a huge amount of money up front for his royalties at the age of like say 50, and you were basically buying a share of any future royalties from him as a sort of a bond kind of thing. Now, do you think that that's
promissory note?
Yeah, do you think that that's like an interesting way to go about like investing as a passive income?
I love that, right? So it's very American in its structure. Like, like, hey, I've got an income stream. What I'm going to do with it? I'm going to sell the next 20 payments to someone for a lump of money, and I'm going to give them a promissory note. You can do that in America. You can do that with rents that are coming in on your commercial property. You can do all sorts of stuff. Or in America, because you can lend someone money and they backed by their security, and they can give you coupons, repayments, whatever. You can then go and sell that. You can sell the hard money promissory note. It's amazing.
There's one company that actually their whole business model, and they make a ton of money, is whenever somebody wins the lotto, like I'm talking millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it's structured so that they get whatever $100,000 per year for the next 20 years. This company comes to them and says, well, we'll give you 80% of that money for the next 20 years cash right now. So we'll give you $80 million right now, but you sign over the 100 million over 20 years to us. So then they've got an income stream for the next 20 years, and they guaranteed they're going to make $20 million for doing absolutely nothing other than fronting the money first. And they've done it for years and years and years. So, their only criteria is they have to come up with that much money in the first place to be able to pay out these people. But all these lotto winners are signing away 20% of their money, signing away for free. But it's a good deal for them because they get 80 million now.
Well, it's easy to do because they can go off and borrow the money, the 80 million, and because they've done it 2 or 3 times before, they've got another income stream coming in. They can use that to make the repayments. But they borrowed their 80 million at 2%.
Yep.
And they're giving on 8 cents on the dollar, so they're making, let's just say 20%.
Yeah.
But I borrowed to purchase that 2%. Good business, right? Yeah. And that's interesting because the person who won the lotto says, look, maybe they're old, maybe they're dying of cancer. They want all the money today. But if they're young, all it means is they don't understand the future value of money, and how they how to add up realistically. They're like, yeah, 80 million. I would expect that person has probably got about 5 million left in about 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and history shows time and time again. Like, you hear those stories. Oh, the worst thing that happened to me was I won the $100 million lottery, and you see those stories all the time. Like, it's a poor indictment on any sort of educational system on those countries, and it's usually the US. They haven't got an amazing education system, a public system anyway.